Hi, I'm Alice.
And I'm Hannah.
And we're just going to talk about some of the things that you might want to bring when you come to Mary's in September.
So we've decided to split it up into categories just to help you, prioritise and split things into sections, make it easier to understand as well. Things to do with bedding. So when you arrive, you will need to bring duvet, pillows, because college does not provide them for you. And alongside of that, bring duvet sheets, and bed sheets and stuff, and preferably 2 sets because you don't want to wait for that laundry.
That's the thing.
You really don't.
Have put your bed sheets in the wash and then you're waiting for a dryer to be free. You don't really want to be waiting to go to sleep while your bed sheets dry. Something I found really nice to have was a mattress topper. So college usually provides a kind of plastic one, but then I had one that was kind of fluffy and made the bed really comfy. You'll also need to bring towels. Again, I'd bring at least 2, maybe more. Just depends on what you want. In terms of clothing, especially for the first and second term, we'd really advise bringing some warm clothes because it can get quite cold in Durham, and especially in some particular rooms around college. You're also probably going to want to bring a good raincoat because many times have I tried to just run to my lecture in the rain instead of wearing a raincoat. I wouldn't advise that. Also, Durham can get a little bit icy and it's quite hilly, so having at least 1 pair of shoes with good grip is essential.
So there are a lot of events at Mary's and at Durham, so we recommend bringing some nice outfits just to help you start your collection essentially of outfits. So for the guys, bring a suit and then bring both ties and a bow tie so then it caters for all events. For the girls, bring a range of dresses, both long and short, but don't worry, don't bring them all at once. People share dresses, people buy them throughout the year. Also, it is totally fine to rewear dresses. You'll build up a collection that will cost a fortune otherwise, so please don't
Everyone
bring
wears
don't so many dresses.
Yeah. Don't bring all of your dresses for first term as well, because you'll have matriculation, probably 3 to 4 formals and a ball, and those are your main events, so you don't need to bring 20 different dresses.
And talking about matriculation, make sure so for the guys you're just wearing a suit, but for the girls make sure you bring black and white outfit, and then obviously you wear your gown with it, but you'll get that when you arrive. Something
I found particularly useful to have if you have a shared toilet and shower block is a pair of shoes that are just really super easy to slip on, kind of easy to clean. I wouldn't recommend fluffy slippers or anything. So I just had a pair of plastic shoes from Primark that cost me £2, and I could just slip them on anytime I wanted to go to the toilet essentially.
Yeah. Another side note we thought is you'll buy a lot of stash when you're at college. As what we're wearing now. And after 3 years for us, we've got so much stash. So make sure you do make space for that. And similarly, you'll buy clothes throughout and fancy dress and stuff. So just be aware of that as well.
Leave some suitcase space to take stuff home, because every single sport, every society and college has its own type of stash, and if you're like me, you'll want to buy it all. So just leave yourself some room in your suitcase.
But I think the most important thing about clothes is actually just be yourself. Just bring what's comfortable for you, and you want to be comfortable. You don't want to try and follow things. Just be yourself, and that's the only thing we can say. So obviously you're coming to university to get a degree, so you will need some study supplies. So obviously you have the basics such as laptop, your chargers, phone, anything else that you need. But some things, the other things we recommend is a diary or calendar, depending on what you work best with, just because you'll have so many deadlines coming up and events and other societal commitments, so then you just want to prioritise your workload.
Yeah. In Durham it's quite easy to kind of go day by day or week by week, but sometimes it's nice to be able to plot in those balls or events that are really far in the future, so then you kind of know how you have to structure your work around them.
Yes, and another thing from that as well, we recommend, it's not an essential, but just something like a HDMI cable or other forms of adapters. you know, you might want to plug it into the TV in the JCRs or something. It's just easier, and it means, you know, people can share them as well. So it's not an essential, but it is quite nice when there's at least one in the group.
Yeah, if you have one, we say bring it. You don't have to go out and buy one.
No, not at all.
But if you have one, it's just a nice thing to have.
And I think the final thing is, you know, you've come to Durham, so congratulations. But it does mean that you know what study tactics work for you. So just stick with them, and hopefully that helps with the studying side of it.
And finally, this is completely up to you, but what I found was really nice to have was just a kind of empty plastic storage box. And I put in this all of the little things you accumulate over your time in Durham. So I have all my wristbands for events, I have my event like invitations, and I also have my mask for Masquerade Ball, and just all the little things that you want to keep but it's really difficult to find a place to put them. Something that's really important to bring, and especially has been for this year, is things that make you feel at home. So obviously we've been studying in our rooms this year, so I've really made an effort to make it as nice as possible. So this could be cushions, blankets. A lot of the rooms in Ferguson have a lot of kind of dead floor space, so maybe a rug could be nice. I also brought a lot of photos of people from home, places I've been, so I can imagine I'm there instead of working from home. And also any posters. Something that's important to note though is that you have to use white tack when you're sticking things up in your college room. So please don't bring blue tack, bring white tack. That's really important.
Some other things like fairy lights. I mean, I know I've always had fairy lights up, even in my current room. But also don't bring candles. They're not allowed because obviously they can set off the smoke alarms as well, and they're just a fire hazard in college. So please don't bring candles. A good alternative is something like reed diffusers or oil diffusers. You know, it's nice to have your room smelling nice when you spend so much time in there. One thing we'd say is you can buy lots of stuff when you get there. Obviously, you know, this is the first time you're moving away from home, so you do want to bring that bit of home comfort with you. You know, some people settle in at different paces, so bring what's comfortable to you and what reminds you of home. But you can buy stuff, you know, when you're up there, and create additions as you make memories throughout. So just be aware of that, and things change all the time, so just, yeah.
There's usually a poster sale outside the SU at some point in first term. There's a houseplant sale usually. I remember I bought a lot of plants and promptly killed them.
The Art Society at Mary's also do lots of sessions like in the first few weeks. So you can meet people through there, but also they do it where you can make art, like decorations for your rooms as well. So that just be aware that all these things are happening whilst you're moving in.
So we also have a couple of things that don't really fit into any neat category. So extension leads. I found in my room I did have a good number of plugs, but it was sometimes very useful to have an extension lead, sometimes to reach different corners of your room, or perhaps like your desk and you need to plug in a monitor, a laptop, a phone charger. All of that is just sometimes nice to have those extra plug sockets. Also for the desk, I found having a desk lamp really nice. They do have like a little lighting strip above our desks, but I didn't find that provided enough light for me personally. I'm a computer scientist, so I like to work very late in the night. And so having an extra desk lamp was really nice. I also brought a lamp to go by my bed, so I didn't have to wake up and put on like the really harsh big light in the centre of the room, because that's just not very nice.
Nice way to wake up. Other things we recommend, obviously most of you will be in shared toilets, so bring in just like a basket or something to have all your toiletries. It's just easier to carry it in. You can pop it on the floor when you're in the shower and take it out, because otherwise you're going to carry bottles with you. It's just not fun.
I'd recommend making that plastic as well, so it's just easy to clean and it's not going to get like damp.
No, not at all, yeah. And then also clothes hangers. Now this just depends. Some people have had leftover hangers from previous years in their wardrobe already, so you might be one of the lucky ones. However, I know for mine, I didn't have any, so it's really useful just getting some clothes hangers. I mean, you'll need them in the future anyway when you move into your next houses or something, so sometimes it's just worth getting them now.
All of the rooms in college have their own sink, and if you're lucky to have en suite, you'll obviously need some kind of basic cleaning supplies. So I just had like a spray and a cloth. Your rooms will get cleaned in college, and they'll usually come and spray around your sink and give it a wipe, but I found it really nice to be able to do that whenever I wanted. Also, things will get spilt around your room, so having a tea towel or some kitchen towel to be able to mop that up is really helpful.
Another thing which is an essential is bring like a laundry basket or a hamper of some sort, because you could be on the top floor of the Ferguson building, which is 4 floors up.
Yeah.
And then the laundry room is right in the basement, so you'll need to carry it all the way down, all the way back up once they're all dry and clean. So do bring a laundry basket there.
And one that's easy to carry.
Yes.
Because I had one that was just impossible to carry, and it was a little acrobatic maneuver.
Yeah. Another thing is bring some like basic kind of cutlery, plates, mugs, but just enough for one person. You do have a kind of a shared kind of kitchen pantry area where there's a kettle and a microwave, and you'll inevitably end up eating like a late night pot noodle or something, and you'll want your teas and coffees, so do bring them because they will get used actually quite a lot. So when you first move in, obviously it's a very busy time, everyone's trying to make friends and be sociable, so there are a few things we recommend bringing. One thing is a doorstop, and actually this will be used throughout the year and many years, just to prop your door open, especially in the first week, especially when you're moving in as well actually, because people will walk past your room and say hi and introduce yourselves, and that's a really good way of just like meeting people just by having someone's door open and popping in.
We would also, it's quite nice if you have multiple mugs, so I bought like a mug stand that had 4 mugs, and this means that you can offer people a cup of tea and a biscuit, and it's just a nice icebreaker and a way to get to know other people. If you're moving in with your parents, if your parents are driving you up, something that's quite good to do is bring more than you need. If you have space for it in your car. I know I did.
I definitely did do that.
So bring more than you need, because when you get here you can always decide, oh, I don't need that. But if you get here and you don't have something, there's not much you can do. Most of the stuff that we've mentioned today can be found on the JCR website. There's a page called What Should I Bring? And that's a really useful resource when you're doing that final checklist. I would also say before I moved in, I spent a couple of weeks beforehand writing out a checklist of everything I could think of, and then I kind of narrowed that down over time.
And I think honestly the final thing we can really say is you'll always bring things that you turn out you don't need, even though you think you do. You'll always bring too much of one thing and not enough of another. So just learn from that, for future terms, and it's okay, it's the first time you're moving out. But yes, hopefully you find this helpful.